Hey Google, play some music.
Hey there, listeners. Welcome back to the Google Stadia Show. My name is Donnie Reese, and unlike the last episode of the Google Stadia Show, I will not be doing this one all by myself via solo. That's right, the crew is back together. Devin, what's up?
What's cracking? Just sitting here in this ridiculous heat. It's still way too hot outside.
It's still daylight over there, right?
This is truth. It's only 6 o'clock. The sun is beaming. This is typically when Bakersfield gets its high. So it's like 100 outside right now.
Wow. Is it that hot where you are too, Jared?
No, I'm actually not sure how hot it is, but it's probably like in the 90s. I work inside, so I haven't really been
Jared's
outside.
like, I haven't been outside. I don't know what weather is.
When I left work, it
air-conditioned.
wasn't that bad, but it's definitely not above 100.
Nice. All right, guys. Well, the family's back together. We're back together. And because today, Stadia, we had another Stadia Connect at Gamescom 2019. Stadia Connect. They've been talking about this one for about a week now. They announced it was about a week and a half ago. It's been a minute since they announced it. And they said that this one was going to be focused all about the games. And it was. But before we get into that, let's kick it off the show with our first question from Kyle. He says he's been busy at work. He's only briefly checked out social media today, but he hasn't seen anything, all caps, about the Stadia Connect. What did they talk about? Well, not much. Like, not all. They talked about some games and games that we all pretty much know about. And I think that's why you're probably not seeing anything buzzing around your social media feed. Also, Sony acquired Insomniac today, so that's all buries the lead. Like anything else like that, Kojima did Kojima stuff, so that's also going to bury the lead. So tough day for them to go, but they did talk about games today, and they announced that Cyberpunk 2077 is coming to Google Stadia, the service, in March 2020. You guys excited? Pumped?
Maybe.
I mean,
No.
No.
Am I the only person that just assumed? I mean, I just assumed that all multi-platform games will come to Stadia.
Yeah, at this point, it's pretty clear. It seems like they will. I mean, I don't think we've gotten a confirmation from like all developers, but it seems like it's moving that way. They're kind of doing a Nintendo thing where they're like holding information close to their chests and releasing it as they see fit.
The only thing I think we haven't heard about is Call of Duty, correct?
Mm-hmm.
We don't know if that's Stadia bound.
yeah.
And we don't know anything about like the free-to-play Fortnites and the Apexes and stuff like that. I haven't heard anything about that either.
That's true.
Yeah, the online competitive shooter scene seems to be missing.
Yeah.
Probably because of
important.
the technology. They're already worried about latency between people and playing online. So adding in the possible latency with streaming the game could prove challenging. So
That's true.
But Mortal Kombat 11 is on there, and you don't need a lot of latency.
And Samurai Showdown and Destiny. So, I mean, you've got some test cases to see if it actually works. And if it does, then maybe we'll start to see some of those games come over as well.
Yeah,
ringing that Destiny bell. I'm so sick and tired.
It's the only shooter that I can think of that's you know.
I mean, it does have
PvP on there,
competitive,
so,
but it certainly isn't as twitchy as Call of Duty or...
Oh, yeah.
I mean, even Fortnite as a shooter is not super twitchy, but with the building and everything, you need everything to be synced up and not have a lot of latency.
Sure. Okay, guys, I'm going to run through this list of games that they talked about today. So, like I said, Cyberpunk 2077, that's what they led off with. This big, huge game, big get. They talked about Kine, which is this 3D puzzle platformer that we talked about, or that we saw today in the Indie Direct, in the Indie World presentation. Orcs Must Die 3, which I'll come back to in a minute. Windjammers 2, Destroy All Humans. Mortal Kombat 11, like you guys just said, super hot. Farming Simulator, Grid, Attack on Titan 2, and Elder Scrolls Online, and Samurai Showdown. Those were basically the games that we saw today, give or take. Are we missing any? Any of you guys missing anything?
No,
it's kind of hard.
Already know what's coming.
It's kind of hard to get excited about this list, guys. I can't even like phone it in. I can't even come here and try to fanboy out over it. It's like there's a part of me, so I'm going to be nice. I'm not going to like just drag them through it for this, but there's a part of me that kind of wants to. There's a part of me that's like, why did we even have a show today? What do you guys think overall? Is there anything here that got your attention, excited?
I mean, outside of Cyberpunk and like what they showed for Watch Dogs, I mean, no, but those are all things we knew or assumed were coming. And like you said, I mean, you kind of just think all of the third-party games are going to be coming. I mean, they showed NBA 2K20. I think they showed FIFA, didn't they? Or am I tripping and just mixing up all of the cast I saw today? Was that on the indie showcase?
I remember they talked about it during the opening night live thing, right? Didn't they dribble the thing around?
Yeah, see, maybe I'm just mixing them up. I don't even know.
It might be running together for me too. Who knows? Yeah, we saw like 5 presentations today. There's a lot of news that came out today.
The only thing I watched was the Stadia Connect and the indie showcase, and there was no FIFA in either of them. So
I definitely remember seeing FIFA. So that must have been Xbox. It must have just all ran together. But either way, I mean, it's all the games.
It was definitely Xbox. Now that you say it, it was definitely Xbox. They did way too long on Xbox. That's correct.
Yeah. So then maybe that's another thing that's missing is sports games. Like we haven't really seen anything from EA about it at all. But you would assume that this is another place for them to plug EA Access or Origin or whatever the heck they want to call their service.
So when they announced that the Ubisoft Pass was coming, I had to think that EA Access would follow along. I mean, that would make sense. But yeah, there's no confirmation there. One of the things we should have talked about is, they kicked off this show with basically another infomercial on what the whole thing was.
Yeah.
They basically ran down the entire sales pitch, the gist of what Stadia is, which you got to think maybe from their angle, they're thinking like they've started to create some buzz. So maybe some folks are watching today that haven't watched it all yet. So they're trying to get everybody caught up to speed.
That's kind of my thoughts, that maybe this is not geared at us, but it's geared at those who aren't already in the know. Just maybe, circling around the fact that there's this big Gamescom thing happening. Let's see if we can put out a Stadia Connect and just get people who are just buzzing about games but haven't really paid attention to Stadia.
I hate that. I don't think you're wrong. That maybe they thought that, but I hate that logic. I think anytime you prime, I've talked about this. This goes for anybody. Anytime you say, "Hey, everybody, pay attention to me. I've got something to say," then you should have something to say and not be like, "Well, we wanted to talk to the non-gamers," because those are the folks you're going to watch. The folks they're going to watch are gamers, like the folk you're enthusiasts. Like the non-gamer didn't show up today at 1:00 in the afternoon to watch this. I don't think. Maybe. I'm not saying nobody did. Surely somebody out there did, but the majority of people that are here have been following along the story. Yeah. And it's just weird for them to kind of open it up like this. It's just not. It's not very exciting. Like this entire thing was just not very exciting. And not that you have to, win the YouTube war and create, fandom and hype. But at some point, guys, I still don't know like what I'm excited to play with my Stadia controller the day that I get it. I guess Gylt, if it comes the same day.
Destiny 2.
Right.
Destiny 2.
No,
I'll be playing that.
I understand what Google is trying to do. I don't know if I agree or not, but I understand what they're trying to do. Right now, they're trying to focus on, hey, we've got this new platform, and we're getting as many publishers on board as we possibly can. No, we don't have really exclusives to show you, no first-party stuff, but if you decide to make Stadia one of your primary places to play games, you've got the third-party big AAA games that are there. And getting Cyberpunk is a pretty big get. That's going to be the biggest game of next year, arguably. So I see what they're doing, and they're really trying to push like, hey, we've got the biggest third-party games, and you can play them anywhere. Like that's their big push right now. And I think the exclusives will come. So right now, to us really big enthusiasts, it's about the technology rather than it is about the games right now. I don't know if that's the right thing to do. Gamers love exclusives. They love big reveals. So probably not. But I see where Google's coming from. I think they're trying to reach an audience that isn't the hardcore gamers, at least not yet.
I think they're just trying to showcase that they're like on par. I think they're just trying to say like, hey, the big boys play here too.
Yeah.
It's kind of like we're Just like all the other consoles, like they got Cyberpunk, we got Cyberpunk. They got 2K, we got 2K. I think that's kind of the idea behind it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I think it's a hard thing to sell right now because they're in this position where there's already 100 million PS4s out there and 40 million Xbox Ones and almost 40 million Switches. So people have consoles already. They have consoles that can play these games that are all coming to Stadia. So it's a hard sell to try and get people to come play on your platform. It'll be interesting to see next year when the new consoles are coming out, what kind of push they make. Like, hey, you don't need to buy a new console right now. Come play all the AAA games on our platform for the first couple years. Wait for the prices to drop. I mean, it'll be interesting, but I think right now they're in this weird like limbo state between every single hardcore gamer already owning something that can play these games and waiting for the next gen.
Yeah.
Or if you're in my case with some of these games on this list that were showed today, I've already bought these games on other consoles.
Yeah.
Like it's too late. Mm-hmm. They haven't got the controller in my hands fast enough. Like I've already bought it. I already bought Cyberpunk. I'm sorry. Stadia, it's nothing.
See, I would have never have bought Cyberpunk already. Like that's like I don't pre-order games like that anymore. And I think a lot.
I had to use that GCU while I could, man. Gotta get that discount.
Donnie saved like $3,000 buying all this GCU stuff, and it's also weird too because a lot of the games that they are advertising are either already out or they're going to be out before Stadia actually launches, and that's just the founders. There's going to be several more games that are going to be out before the free version launches. So
their proposition is to, hey, buy this thing and play these games months after they've released and everybody else has already beaten them.
Yeah, they've really got to push the tech, like the fact that you're going to be able to play it and it's going to be better, That's the thing that they're like really not saying. They're not speaking about the fact that you're going to be able to play it in native 4K 60 if you've got the internet connection. Like I think that needs to be something that they focus more on because that's going to be what separates you from the consoles. Like you're not going to be able to play any of these games in a 4K native setting on PS4. Some of them not even the Xbox One. So to be able to say, yeah, we don't have those problems, you're not going to have to worry about that. Like this is going to be the best place to play it if you don't have a high-powered PC. And they'll even rival, a high-powered PC if the tech works. So I think they need to start to focus on that and push that and say, hey, we're going to be the best place to play this game. You're going to have the best experience to play this game. And if they don't start pushing that, it's just like, well, okay, I can play games anywhere, but why?
Today was the first time that I've heard them actually try to take that path with the Orcs Must Die 3 developer that started talking about his game. And I really like that about that. Whether you were captivated by this game, or have either of you ever played this game?
No.
Orcs Must Die? I honestly will admit I've never heard about it. I did look it up, though. Orcs Must Die 2 came out in 2011. It's an action tower defense game. And it actually had really high reviews. It's like a Metacritic in the high 80s. I think IGN gave it a 9.1 or something like that. So it's a fairly decent kit. It's a timed exclusive for Stadia, which was nice. But the thing that I liked about it most was the fact that when they had the developer spotlight, instead of just talking about his game like everybody else, he talked about why his game was better with Stadia. And I would like to see more of that going forward. And he went in depth and he was like, hey, this is a powerful unit. Like everybody has the exact same baseline. He was talking about like all the NPCs and stuff. He's like, we've got 500 orcs running down this tunnel and everything. He's like, this is all, powered by the cloud. That's the type of stuff that starts to separate them apart. There's a part of me that wants to say, I don't understand why Google isn't buying more stuff like this, but at the same time, I don't know if it's available. Like, I don't know how willing or ready developers are ready to put all of their eggs in the Google Stadia basket. When we started this show, I was surely Google's going to go spend $1 billion in locking up 10 exclusive indie games. I mean, I really did. I was like, because that's what you would, if you were proliferating a console and you were trying to establish a platform, especially one that's already going to be so heavily scrutinized just by its very nature, the least you could do is buy, 5 or 6 exclusive games, to give yourself a good pitch. And they're really not going that way. And this kind of goes back to reinforce a lot of what Jared's been saying, but my hype level for Stadia overall is definitely been on the decline. It's like starting to fall all the way since E3. It's starting to come down. But I'm starting to really view it in a different light in the sense that I'm starting to just look at it like, and I know this is going to sound dumb to say aloud, but like Google Play. it's not necessarily like to be the best thing on the market, but it's this thing that's here that you can use if you want to, if it's available. And it's like, they're just going to kind of set it up and just let it go. And that scares me because I don't know, like I was really hoping that the power of Google would get put behind it. And there's not a whole lot that I'm seeing outside of that initial reveal when they talked about netcode that makes me think like they're really, really trying to make a splash in the gaming market.
Yeah. I think it's the long haul game. I don't think it's the short term where they're just going to put all their eggs in like, let's buy all these indies or whatnot, or buy all these games. I think it's more of let's establish a base. Let's show you what the system can do. And then eventually, especially like, why buy all this stuff now when you have the next gen coming out like right away? Like next gen is upon us. I would say you want to start to tout that stuff like once the next systems are announced and we know they're coming. Then you hit with boom, Stadia does this here. We do it better. We do it in 8K, 120 frames or whatnot. And you know, you don't need to buy the console. I think that it's right now they're just playing the long-term game. Like, let's get it out there. Let's show that the tech works. And then once you have all these next gen systems announced and confirmed, we can hit you with but this is why you should play it on Stadia. Yeah, you've got the new whatever here, but we've also got it on Stadia and it runs better than it does on console. You're not, hampered by the box. The devs can put all the power they want behind it.
I mean, I think that's good, but Jared, like, my take is I'm not exactly sure that they want to swing like toe to toe with Microsoft and Sony. I'm starting to get the impression that they almost feel like they're just kind of happy being behind them. Like maybe we're not your lead console. Maybe give us a try. Maybe rent us for a month, but we just have this service that's available. It's like, it is very much the long game. Like I see that. I just don't know if we should be expecting them to ever have that moment where they come out and they really make a statement and go, now take it seriously. Because I just don't know if I see that day coming.
At least, probably not within the next 5 years. Right? I mean, even if Google came out with 3 of the best games we've ever seen, there's still going to be a huge barrier because gamers love owning things and they hate streaming stuff. And I think right now their biggest hurdle is proving the technology, showing that it works, showing that I can stream a 4K game to my 4K TV on my Chromecast, pause it, jump on my phone, play the game because my wife wants to watch TV, go to sleep, wake up the next morning, go to work, and now I'm playing at work on my break. Like, if they can prove that and word of mouth gets around that, hey, if you've got the internet, this is amazing, I think it'll win people over. And I think putting all of their eggs in a basket right now in terms of software and video games might be the wrong call because... Yeah. I mean, yes, that's where the games are, but if you can get all the third-party stuff...
right now it feels like they have no eggs in the basket.
They've got all the third-party stuff. I mean...
Right. They've got all the games that people are looking at. Like, I don't think
not all of them, like we said.
I don't think you need a bunch of indie
not games. Call of Duty. Like, there's a lot of third-party games that they don't have.
There are.
Like, there's... For me, I don't think there's a... Like, if you're... And we've talked about this before. If you're a gamer... If you're an enthusiast that already has access to any other gaming platform, like this right now continues to be a tough sell, at least until 2020 when the Ubisoft Pass comes. Like the Ubisoft Pass is the thing I'm most excited for, and it's still down the road. It's even down the road after we get it. I don't know. I think it still remains to be a tough sell. And I think the biggest issue is like, if you're not winning the hearts of the enthusiast customer, that it's going to be really hard to win the hearts of those that aren't, because the enthusiast customer is the one that informs and spreads that to the masses. We're the ones that sit around Thanksgiving and go, hey, let me show you this thing you can do for $100. We're the ones that have got to show that to people. And if there's not a lot of stuff out there and not a lot of people excited, or, if they go to YouTube, they just have 100,000 YouTubers talking about how it's going to fail and be awful. It's, I don't know. I feel like they're really starting to put, to get behind the 8 ball here. I've been hoping for a while now that they'd be a little further ahead of the game, especially now. Like, we're not that far away from launch, guys. We're going to be getting our Founders Editions here soon. And
I think that's when the hype train really starts. I don't think, because of the technology and like nobody has it to be like, yeah, it works. Yeah, they saw it at E3 and it worked there. But until it starts getting into the founders' hands, I don't think you can really start that hype train. it's going to sink or swim once it comes to the founders, because they're going to be the ones playing it and spreading that word of mouth. I think that's the only way that you're really going to be able to show what Stadia can do, is once it gets out there in the wild. It's not like a regular console, or like once you have it, you put the disc in or download the game and it plays. This is more of a, you have to have a hands-on with this. Like, it's like VR. You can't really, know how great VR is until you do it for yourself, until you put the headset on.
I see. Yeah. I mean, I guess there's still a good possibility that when we plug in our Chromecast that day in November, that we have that magical spark where we're like, oh my God, we have to tell the world.
Yeah.
I mean, it's possible. We'll just tell them about how awesome Destiny 2 is.
I mean, absolutely. My God, it's streaming great, and it looks better on my Chromecast and Stadia than it does on my console. Like, I think that's where you're going to start to see like the word of mouth spread and the hype train roll, when people start playing these games that they can also play on their other consoles, but it looks or plays better or loads faster or anything. Like, that's when you start to see the separation of what Stadia can do opposed to like our current gen consoles and possibly even next gen.
Yeah, I think the software and the technology go hand in hand, because how do you get excited for a game if you're unsure of the technology? How do you sell a game to the audience if 99% of the player base is like, I don't want to stream games, I want to own my games, I want a disc? Like, it's a catch-22 where it's like they could focus all on software and have all these really cool exclusives, but then everybody's going to be like, oh, it's streaming, it sucks, I want to own my games. Or they can do what they're doing now and focus on the technology, and then the exclusives will come later, because we know that they will, unless it completely tanks and they're just like, you know what, we give up. But I doubt that'll happen.
I'm starting to believe that more and more as a possibility as time goes on. But speaking of the technology, Coach Smith writes in, was it disappointing there was nothing about the user interface or anything? And yeah. So one of the things that we talked about in our Discord channel over there at psvg.blog/discord was, I said, what were the chances that today we would find out another one of the Stadia Pro games? Right? We know we're getting Destiny. What were the chances that today we would find out, oh, and if you have the Founders Edition in December, you get, Borderlands 3 or whatever. Like, I thought they would announce one of those, at least to give us some sort of roadmap, maybe another game to get excited about. And Devin, what did you say?
I said 100%. I thought for sure we'd see something too.
I thought we'd hear something about the program. Guys, it's getting real close. We haven't seen them stream to YouTube. We don't know what the interface looks like. We don't know what the store looks like.
I guess I don't really care about that, to be perfectly honest.
I do.
I don't know.
I know
like,
you do.
I care a lot about that stuff. It's what you see every day. It's what you navigate. It's how you do things. I want to see the chat. I want to see all the things. I want to see the stream it now button on YouTube. I was so excited for that. I want to see it. What does it look like?
I want to see all that too, but we still have 2 months, and
it's not that long. You think it's not that long?
No,
it's a short amount of time.
I guess I just assume it's going to look like everything else, so I'm not worried about it. I feel like it's just going to be like, launch the game, good to go. I'm not really worried about the YouTube integration or anything else like that.
I don't think the streaming is going to be there at launch, to be quite honest. I mean, I keep saying it until they tell me otherwise. I'm just assuming it's not ready.
I mean, if they're saying that when you play a game, all your gameplay is also recorded on YouTube in real time, I can't imagine that that's built into the backbone of the service, that it wouldn't be available at launch.
I think your video demand could, but like, do you have actual live streaming? Can I overlay chat on it? Like, is it, like, how does it work? What can we do with it? Can you monitor that while you're doing it? What if can I use a webcam? Like, there's like a lot of questions on the streaming space.
Where are you going to plug webcam in? To your TV and your Chromecast?
Yeah.
On your phone. You're just going to hold up your phone. And
hold your phone up.
Off of the
like, I think all that's going to be based on you playing at a PC.
I'm just thinking aloud. There's a lot of questions that I feel like remain unanswered. A lot of this, like the user interface, the store.
When I mentioned 2 months, it's like, yeah, that's not a long time, but all they have to do is drop a 30-minute Stadia Connect a week before it launches, and we've got all our information. Plus, you've got 3 months. We all get
super excited.
Plus, you've got 3 months of the founders having Stadia Pro before it's actually released fully to the public. So like, right. They've got time to do this. Like, I really wouldn't expect everything to be in motion with the founders. This is very much a soft it's an official launch, but it's a soft launch. It's basically a beta, which Google is known for. Google launches things into beta. I mean, Android was released to the public in beta and was in beta for like 6 years before it really gained traction. And now it's the biggest operating system in the world. Like 75% of the world population use Android phones. So there's no reason why this couldn't blow up as well. And I think Google just needs time to prove the technology.
Yeah. And I feel like the store, the UI, I feel like that's going to go through so many iterations in those 3 months. It's not even going to be funny. I feel like it's going to change rather often.
I mean, I really want to see the software. I really want to see the user interface, but I have no doubt that it'll be good because all of Google's software is really good in terms of user interface and user experience.
That's true. Their design team is pretty stellar.
And I wouldn't be surprised if you just buy your games on Google Play, to be perfectly honest.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I mean, they talked about like the family share that we're expecting to come in 2020 and whatnot. Like, I kind of expect it all to be kind of built in together. It'll just launch as another little segment of the Play Store. And actually, that'll probably get them more eyes on anyway. You know, because if you click on the Play Store, if you're not already a member, they'll just have like a big splash page with a controller. They're like, you've got to buy this first, right? Yep. It's just more advertising for them, so that's pretty good.
But you could open your phone, click buy a $30 game, hit play, and it just immediately starts playing. No download to your phone. Like, that's pretty cool. Like,
the Mortal Kombat guy really kind of, that was like there was a sliver of a moment there where I got kind of excited. You watch the Mortal Kombat guy and he's talking about his game and everything, and it's Mortal Kombat. It's already out. We know about it. But he goes, Stadia is pretty cool. He's like, he's sitting there playing on my TV. I hit pause and pick it up on my phone and keep playing. He's like, it's pretty awesome. And when you like strike, a fancy with somebody like that, somebody makes games, like there was a moment there I was like, yeah, it is. I didn't know he had a Pixel 3, but it is pretty cool. Like, I can't wait. I can't wait to see it myself.
A fighting game, the amounts of input precision you have to play something like Mortal Kombat, the fact that it's working on Stadia gives me a lot of hope for the lack of lag that we'll have to deal with, because you cannot play an online fighter with lag. It's just, no.
It's true.
You do not,
yeah, they count frames and stuff like that.
Yeah,
I still want to see what it looks like on phones and how it, how it zooms down and everything. Like, how do they polish all that up? Like, there's still a lot. I have a lot of questions. I want to see it. Like, I'm getting tired of this. I want to see it. Show me the service.
You'll see it soon. It'll be in your hands.
I know.
You'll be playing Destiny.
I am not going to play Destiny.
Like,
I'm so. By the way, no. Let's tangent.
We're
here.
both gonna be at work, and I'm be like, Donnie, let's just play. Let's just get around.
I am so tired of seeing Destiny. Destiny was shown at everything today, and didn't it get like its own like live stream last week? Like, Destiny is everywhere. I can't get rid of it. I can't, like, there's not a mute or a block or anything that I can get away from it. It's omnipresent.
Don't be mad.
I mean, it's really cool. I will play it because it's free. But I'm not excited to play it.
That's because you haven't played with me yet. We haven't gone and done some things and blown some stuff up, and you've used your finishing moves to punch a giant ogre in the face.
I gotta do something. I mean, I paid $130 for Destiny 2. I gotta put some time into it. So, the other thing I would say was at the Gamescom press conference, opening night live. Terrible name, by the way. Gylt got on stage. Tequila was up there, and they talked about Gylt. I really like it. I continue to really like it. And when we saw it for the first time, it was #DonnieGame. I mean, it's spot on. I'm trying not to get overly excited because it's Tequila. We don't have the best history. But it kind of looks like Pixar Silent Hill, sort of. Like, the little girl has a flashlight and she like basically conjures up her own monsters, and you have to hide, and it's spooky, scary horror game. They did say today they confirmed that it'll be there at launch. I believe they even said November, and they reaffirmed that it was exclusive, which I still think is shaky. If you guys haven't been following, there was interviews about a month ago where Tequila said that hasn't been completely confirmed yet, which makes me think maybe they're talking, is it exclusive to the service that you have to buy? Are they trying to put in that Stadia Pro thing? Or like, could it possibly launch with PC as well? Could it like show up in the Epic Store or something? I don't know. But right now, I mean, that's like the game that I'm kind of have my eyes on. It's the things that I'm excited for Stadia is I one, want to see if it works. Obviously, we're all here because we're techies. 2, I would like to play Gylt. And 3, I want to play the Ubisoft Pass. I mean, if it works, I am still excited that in March, I will play Watch Dogs with the Stadia controller. That's a game I have not bought yet that I will, pay the pass to play. And that I'm excited for. But are either of you planning on buying a game in November on Stadia? Like you're going to pay $60 for a game?
I'm going to be playing Destiny, so no.
For me, it depends on what's available. I'm not really exactly sure like what's going to be available at that time. I'll definitely
Destroy All Humans.
Destroy
Genesis.
All Humans. That's coming out already this year?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, I mean, Destroy All Humans I'm excited for. And honestly, Stadia is probably one of my preferred places to play that because that's not a game that, I'm going to be able to spend hours in front of the TV because my wife probably won't want to watch it. So it'll be cool to just play it on my phone or my Chromebook or whatever. Right now, the big experiences I want to play at home. So whether I get them on Stadia or not, it'll depend on how well it works, especially when I'm mobile. But right now, all those smaller AA games, those are kind of my preferred Stadia games at this point. Stuff that I don't really care about being at home playing on front of the TV with my surround sound and everything.
I might get Doom Eternal on Stadia just to test it out. Not a game that I'm super, over the moon about, but I do like Doom. And I feel like it might be a fun one to be able to take anywhere. So I might get Doom on it.
Yeah, I'm kind of like in this like testing mentality where I just want to like try games that'll really push it to see how well it works, because there are games that I probably won't buy on my Xbox or PlayStation anyways, but if I buy them on Stadia, I can at least test it out and see how it works.
Sure. I get that. There's always like that. I'm that way with a lot of Switch games. There are a lot of Switch games I kind of just want to see what it looks like. I was excited when Wolfenstein Youngblood had a demo. I was like, I gotta go see this. I gotta see how it runs. Mm-hmm. I don't think Destroy All Humans has a date yet. I thought it did because I pre-ordered it, but apparently it's just like open-ended, so we don't know.
Yeah, I thought it was next year for some reason.
Yeah. Anything else, guys? Anything you guys want to talk about? We haven't got together in forever. 2 months now. We haven't really, like, you guys weren't there with me last month. I'm not sure if I said all the words that you guys thought about, Ubisoft Plus or whatever they're calling it, Uplay Pro or whatever. I know, Dev, when we live streamed it, you and I were both very, very excited about that. I'm getting Gods and Monsters and Watch Dogs on Stadia if Stadia works. For sure. Because
Absolutely.
What is it? $30?
Yeah.
For both of those games for a month? Yep. I'll be playing those there. Thank you.
Yeah, one of the guys that I was watching the thing with, the Stadia Connect with, who had not really heard anything about Stadia, was really excited about Gods and Monsters when he looked back at it. He was like, oh, I'll check that out. I'll see if that works on it. So
I would sub Uplay Plus if it was available in November. Like, yeah. I would sub immediately if it was available. I'd just play something old. I'd play Far Cry or Assassin's Creed or The Crew or something. I'd be down for that just to play.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
See, and I think that's where Stadia Pro has an advantage is you don't have to have it all the time. You can just use the base for games that you don't care about, and when that big game comes out in November, you can spend $10, get the 4K 60, get the best experience, and then unsubscribe. Like, I do that all the time with these streaming services like CBS and all that. I sign up for when there's a show I want to watch, and then discontinue it when I'm done. Like, it's not 100%. That big of a deal.
I pop to Netflix, I go to Hulu, I go to HBO, I travel around for stuff. I think you're spot on, and that's kind of where I was going with like their current space with Google Play. The amount of like Google Play movies I've got because they were just on sale or like they had like a freebie or there was like a code. I was like, I'll just throw it in the library and start using it. And over time, I've eventually started to like graduate over there and use it more often. It's kind of where I'm with this right now. And I just think that's very unexciting and not appealing to most gamers. Like if you're in the gaming business and like you're, a super fan like we are, like folks are wanting to see who's the best.
Right.
And this is by far not like the best yet. Like they're not making any case for that at all. Like they're basically just making a case to just be there. They're like, hey, we're here. It's an option. Is it a great option? Who knows? But it is an option. I mean, because to the unknowing eye, like today's Stadia Connect basically could have been like a Steam or an Epic Store promo. You know, they could have just done that. And I was going to ask you guys if you thought, would it have been better if they didn't do today's announcements as a Stadia Connect, if maybe they just started dropping some trailers or something like that, getting some preview coverage, instead of having like, hey, we have Stadia Connect, come see Cyberpunk, because we didn't really see anything new from Cyberpunk, really.
Right. I think if you just started dropping trailers, it's like, how do you separate that trailer from the same trailer that's going to be for the Xbox? So I think putting it in a Stadia Connect makes you associate it more with Stadia than if you were to just drop a trailer here, drop a trailer there, because then it's like, but wait, that's everywhere, right? But at least with this, it just kind of ties it together, saying this is going to be on Stadia.
Yeah, and I don't know. I think it's dropping a tweet that says, hey, this is coming to Stadia is cool and all, but I don't know. It's something fun just as a gamer to just sort of all gather around and watch an event, watch a live stream. Like, even if it ends up not being amazing. I'm a Nintendo fan.
I'm not disagreeing with you there. I love but my thing is you have limited amounts of bullets to do that with before you start to before it starts to backfire. You've got to make it worth, folks' time, or you get the negative run of the mill, if you will.
Well,
you get all the.
And I think that's why the length of the Stadia Connects is good. They're not they don't really overstay their welcome. They're not super long. It's not like
that's true.
It's not like Inside Xbox where it's like, hey, once a month we're gonna have this hour-and-a-half long show and show you random stuff that could have been in a 20-minute, thing. So if these were an hour long, I think it would be really bad. But because they're 20, 30 minutes and they're pretty much just trailer after trailer, I think as a show they're good. Regardless of the content that's in there, it's got a good pace. I don't think it's really ruining it yet. I mean, if they have the next 6 and they're all just okay, we've already played these games, whatever.
Super Hot and Elder Scrolls Online and Grid.
But see, I don't know. A lot of these games, like Elder Scrolls Online, Destiny, these games that are games as a service and that you continue to play and play and play. Stadia could be the best place to play it because not only can you play it wherever you want, but every time you log in, every update is already there. Everything is already there. You don't have to download anything. You don't have to wait for things to load. It's just you just jump in when you want to play and stop when you don't want to play. There's no waiting. I hate logging on to my PlayStation or my Xbox to play a game and I've got to download this huge patch that they just released. I think for games like that, it'll be a big deal.
Yeah, so speaking to that, I bought an SSD just for Destiny because I was so sick of the long, ridiculous loads that it was having on PS4. And it made a huge difference, literally cut the load times in half. So to be able to not have to deal with any of that on Stadia is just,
Well, we don't know that you won't have load times.
Well, not the load times, but I'm not going to download an update. There's no update to download. I can just jump in and it just goes. I'm gonna say starting Destiny or Elder Scrolls Online, the amount of time that it takes just to start those games up on console is ridiculous. Mm-hmm. So to be able to have just a streaming service where there's nothing to download, nothing to install, to just be able to just kind of jump into the game, I mean, you can't really beat that. And that's another thing that you're not going to be able to showcase until it's in people's hands.
Until people see it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Because, I mean, there definitely will be load times because it's still hardware that's pushing this, but Google can update all that stuff in the back end. So we don't know exactly what hardware is running this. We just know that it's, 11 teraflops or gigaflops or whatever it is. I don't remember. But it's like Xbox One and PS4 combined, basically. But we don't know if they're running SSDs or what it's fully capable yet. But even if it's not running SSDs right now, in a year or two, they can just upgrade SSDs and now all of a sudden load times are cut by 90%. I mean, so I think because the hardware is so powerful, load times will be significantly smaller than on a PS4 Pro or an Xbox One X, even if they're not gone completely.
I'd like to see or hear that. It'd be nice to see or hear that. Hey, this is Doom Eternal on Xbox versus Stadia. Like, say some of that. Like, show it off, you know?
Well, if it's true,
cool.
I'm just speculating, obviously, but if it's true, it'd definitely be a selling point. I mean, because they've already touted no updates, no downloads, whatever, just jump into the game when you want to play it. But if they're like, hey, we're twice or 3 times as powerful as these guys, and our load times are 3 times faster, like...
Oh, you'll definitely see the comparison videos when the games actually come out. Like, you'll see that. And again, that's the thing you're not going to be able to show off until it's enhanced. So I think Doom Eternal is one that you'll see a lot of comparison videos because they come out around the same time.
Do you think there'll be like early access preview coverage for the Founder stuff? Or do you think we'll get our hands on our, like with everybody else? Like it all goes out basically at the same time. Or is like IGN like the week before being like, we beat Destiny 2 on Google Stadia and here's how it works?
That's a good question. That's a very good question.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how that'll work with the Founders Pack because people are going to have early access to choose their usernames. So I don't know if that's affected. If like IGN staff get access to it first and they get all the good names. Like, I don't know. It seems like that would kind of ruin the Founders Pass.
Because I mean, even though they basically begged you to pre-order one today, like we're all kind of assuming that by the time November gets around here, like they maybe won't be continually selling Founders Packs. Like there should be some sort of period where you can't get one for like a month, you know? Yeah. Like they should sell out, and then as they start to actually launch the actual service, here come all the new models and all the new things and all the new stuff. I mean, keep acting like it's a limited amount.
They said it was sold out in some places, so
it has to be a limited amount because the controllers, eventually those controllers are going to be gone, and it's a Founders exclusive. So, and once the service officially launches, you're no longer going to be a Founder if you buy it. So, I think it'll end.
Okay. Well, I'm looking at the notes here, trying to think if there's anything else I want to say. I think I'm good.
Yeah, I don't really have much to say. I mean, in terms of software...
It's a very uninspiring show.
Yeah, in terms of software...
I'm still excited. I'm still excited for the service. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, like I said, the ability to be able to play any AAA game for the most part, any third-party AAA game in the best possible way, kind of anywhere, is exciting. But again, it's like one of those things that you don't really know until you have it in your hand. So I'm excited for the launch of it. I mean, I know all these games are coming, so that's not what excites me.
So what you're saying is you're in love with the idea.
Yes, I'm in love with the idea and the possibility of the tech. That's what I'm excited about. Games aren't really going to do it for me. The UI isn't going to do it for me. I need to have it. So I'm excited about being able to finally have it in my hands and be like, holy crap, I don't need a PC anymore because this plays better than my PC does, or this plays better than my console. Like, that's what I'm excited for. The possibility of greatness. Greatness awaits.
I'm in the same boat because, I mean, I'm a video game nerd and I'm a technology nerd. And right now, the video game nerd in me is like, I mean, there's games that I want to play, but I don't know if I'll get them on Stadia. But the technology nerd inside of me is very excited. I really want to see where this goes, and even if it's not the best thing ever, I'm excited to see where it pushes the industry, because it has to. It has to have some sort of effect. It's not just going to...
I think it already has.
Yeah, it's not just going to fizzle and die like people think. It's not going to happen.
When you see Nintendo and PlayStation reaching out to Microsoft to launch new cloud gaming platforms and Microsoft launching their own, it already has. Google Stadia has already set, events in motion. We just don't know how it'll all play out.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I mean, I am very much still excited, like you guys are, to see like the technology, but I can't act like I'm super excited to play any specific game. Like, there's nothing here where I was like, I can't wait to buy it on Stadia. Now, I'm hoping to eat crow, and I'm hoping like Jade Raymond comes out in February, and it's like, check out this new game we're making. But, I don't know. I was hoping for that already. I thought for sure they've had something in pre-production. For sure that they wouldn't just launch this with Destiny, but nope, it looks like they were just launching it with Destiny.
Yeah. And I like, just one more point. I think that's what's so cool about Stadia is because right now it's like, okay, I've got a PlayStation 4, and if I didn't have an Xbox and Microsoft comes out with a really cool exclusive, I'm like, okay, now I've got to buy this box just so I can play this game. With Stadia, if Sony is your primary console, if PlayStation is your primary console, and Google's like, hey, check out this AAA game, and it starts getting 10 out of 10 reviews from everywhere, you can just buy the game for $60 and play it. Like, you don't have to buy anything. You can just experience all the exclusives with just the cost of the software.
It'd be very interesting to see if Microsoft ever publishes a game to the Stadia store. Because I don't think they will, because they're basically direct competitors. But at the same time, Microsoft's touting this cross-platform, promote stuff. We got Gears on Steam and Epic, and we're bringing Ori to Switch. Like,
I mean, at this point,
it's interesting, right?
At this point, Microsoft is making everybody the direct competitor, because technically Nintendo's their direct competitor with xCloud coming. Oh, you can play on the go, but all our games are on the Switch anyways. So,
yeah, kind of. Maybe they hold true, and maybe at some point we see Gears or Forza show up on Stadia. That'd be crazy. Be crazy to think. I know a lot of PlayStation fans would be like, "Well, I'll just buy it there then."
Yeah.
Yup.
Yeah. See, Dev.
I mean, but then there's that thing called Game Pass Ultimate. So I don't know.
It's good stuff. All right, guys. That'll do it for episode 6 of the Google Stadia show. Sorry, we're not, more excited. We saw Windjammers 2 today. We can't phone it in.
That looked awesome. Am I gonna play it? No, but it looked.
And hopefully, as we start to turn into September, and the leaves start to turn towards the fall, hopefully we start getting more information. We need information about what exactly Pro still is. Like, what games are going to be there at launch day. What does the user interface look like? Does it work with YouTube? There's still a lot of questions remain to be answered. So, but we'll be here to answer them. So as news comes out, you can expect more from the Google Stadia show. Thanks for listening, guys. Appreciate it.